Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Covert with Symphoria, and I'm so excited to bring you another Symphoria sponsor spotlight. Today, I'm with Michael Fang, who is the VP of System Integration at PEC, one of our sponsors. Welcome, Michael.
Hello, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing just fine. Thanks
Very
for arranging this conversation.
Very good. Well, and thanks for taking time out of your busy day to talk with me. I really appreciate it. And so for those of you who are watching who might not know, why don't you tell us a little bit about PEC and what you do in and around the community and further out beyond that?
Well, our company PEC, it's actually a family-owned company. We're a technology company based here in Syracuse. My mom actually started the company back in 1987, so 33 years ago now is when she started it. And she's still here. She's still active in the company. My dad's part of the company. My two brothers are also part of the company as well. So it's really family-owned, family-run, family-operated. We are a technology company. Right now, we do a lot of work with the DoD, with the military. And we basically created a virtual school for language and culture training for active duty military. So it's a live class with an instructor and other students in the class, and through a platform similar to this, everybody can see each other and hear each other, and it's fully collaborative. And we built a back end for all the student logistical arrangements and things along those lines. And we've been doing that with primarily with the Special Forces, Special Operations Command, since about 2003. So it's a good 17 years or so that we've been working on this. Early on in the early 2000s, a lot of it, technology was a lot different back then. So it was a lot of pilot classes, prototype classes, a lot of proof of concept. Right now, we're running probably over 450 classes on any given week right now, with probably somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 students in class, with another maybe 7,000 or 8,000 in the school.
Wow.
So it's something that's really been, it's a little bit more of a machine now that kind of runs, on a daily, weekly basis.
You had a little bit of a head start of all of our school districts around here when they had to start teaching from home, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of schools, higher education, I think, in the last couple of months, they've had to adapt, and there's probably been some speed bumps and some things that they've had to try to figure out and kind of overcome. And we went through those too, but it was, like 2004, 2005. So a lot of the lessons that we've learned, I think, it's not just about the technology. It's not just about the bright shiny object. And me being the computer guy, that's the kind of thing that I like. But a lot of it's the process and the procedure and how to train the instructors, make sure that the instructors are ready to use the tools, make sure the students can be effective. Really, the key is for the learning environment to work, because you can have all the technology in the world that you want, but if it's not actually facilitating learning, then it really doesn't matter at that point. So a lot of what we do is behind the scenes. It's not just the technology, but it's working with all of the people involved so that it works well, as a tool to facilitate learning.
Yeah. So how many languages do you teach?
Well, we have, over the last 17 years, we have trained 94 different languages.
Wow.
We've had students and instructors participate in class from 54 different countries around the world. A lot of them are in the U.S., but a lot of them aren't, because it's military guys and they're basically just kind of all over the place. So it's been
that is really something. And how many employees do you have as part of PEC?
We have somewhere around 70-ish, somewhere in that range. So it's been it's a nice little. We've really been able to grow, especially in the last 5 to 10 years. It's been something that has really enabled the military to sort of project their language training out to places and to situations that they would not have otherwise had the chance to do, given physical limitations and geographic limitations. So it's been something that we've been able to sort of plant, nurture, and really kind of grow.
That's wonderful. I have known you for a long time, and I don't think I really quite understood exactly what PEC did until just now. So thank you. I appreciate that. One of the things that we are so grateful to PEC for is your support as a sponsor. And I feel that you, Michael, is also a part of our board, go above and beyond. I mean, this is more than just sponsorship. You have supported us with technology and trying to get our live stream concerts up and running. For example, we have our Solstice Evening of Gratitude happening tomorrow night, and we filmed that at Inspiration Hall, which is a PEC location, and it was already set up with cameras, and you extended support from your staff for us. I mean, above and beyond. And we just can't say thank you enough to you for all of the support that you give us throughout the year.
Well, it's something I appreciate. Thank you very much. It's really it starts with my family, with my parents. I mean, they have been very supportive over many years, and it's, you know, music has always been a part of my life. I mean, I grew up. I was on the piano. You know, we all, my two brothers and I all learned the piano. I played trumpet, you know, in the school band, the jazz ensemble, and those kinds of things. So it's always been a very important part of my life. I remember, when I was young, my dad would watch those simulcasts that WCNY used to have of, you know, the New York Philharmonic or whatever, and he would record the video from the TV, but he would wire the audio from the radio because he felt it had better quality. So he would record audio from the radio, but video from the TV. And I remember seeing those and watching those. And so, you know, from a young age, it's always been something that's been part of my life. And it really was planted by my parents. And I feel like we're sort of kind of doing the same thing with our kids. You know, they both played piano. My older daughter plays the violin. The younger one plays cello. They both take, you know, private lessons from musicians in Symphoria. And it's something that really is kind of, you know, part of, not just, I mean, it's definitely part of who I am and our family, but, you know, from a company perspective and from a community perspective, I think it's something that's very important, you know, for the community as well. I mean, you think about companies in the area, you think about, you know, economic development and all those different things. And when companies are trying to recruit people, or if there are companies that are looking at, you know, our area to see whether or not they should come and establish offices or things here in the area, one of the, you know, you talk to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, you talk to Center State CEO, you talk to some of these groups in the area that try to spur this on. Invariably, one of the main questions that are asked by these companies are, what's going on in terms of the arts, in terms of music, in terms of culture in the community? If that element is not there and is not thriving, that's a pretty major disadvantage for any place that's trying to kind of advance those types of things. And for what we have, Symphoria being an extremely important piece of that, it's really, you know, it's one of those things that people may take for granted or maybe overlook. But if it's not there, it's a major piece that's not there, and it's very, very difficult to fill. And so from my family, you know, from my parents to my brothers and I, and to our kids, from our company as well, it's something, Symphoria especially is something that we really want to support, to really allow it to continue to thrive, continue to do, you know, what we all do, you know, so well for the community, for the people that are here.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love what you're saying about how corporations in Syracuse and in Central New York and Symphoria, we have this symbiotic relationship where Symphoria is providing opportunities for your employees and for the companies to engage and to bring in new talent and to provide a really great place for everyone in Central New York to live. And then the businesses are helping Symphoria and other arts organizations keep doing what they're doing and keep fulfilling their mission, which is very, as far as Symphoria goes, and I know many of the other cultural organizations around Central New York, is very community driven. And you know what I think of a lot? I just think of how we're all neighbors, right? And we just want to give each other what we can give. And so I'm so thankful that PEC is so generous with Symphoria, and in turn so generous with all of our neighbors in Central New York. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, well, from the perspective of a business owner, I almost feel like it's not just an opportunity for us, but almost a responsibility, to do what we can in the areas where we can do them, so that the orchestra can thrive. That it is very much a symbiotic relationship, and it's not just performances. It's teaching our kids, teaching our children, having different points of contact with the community at large, not just in the hall, not just on the performance days, but throughout as well. And it's the relationships that come out of that really kind of set the stage. It's a really important part of the fabric of our community. And again, I think it might sometimes be easy to overlook, but if it's not there, it's very obvious, and it's very, very difficult to replace.
Yeah, it would be missed for sure. One of the things that PEC does for us is provide Inspiration Hall as a location for us to do, in addition to our special concerts coming up, like our Solstice tomorrow night. We do all of our kids' concerts there. And in a way, that's sort of, to me, really about legacy, because every kid who comes to a kids concert who's under 18 is free at Symphoria. And then we have this beautiful space called Inspiration Hall, where we're sort of initiating these kids into the love of music, of symphonic music. So hopefully they will grow up and become business owners and supporters of Symphoria like all of you. It's like this beautiful circle, and I love it so much.
And even for people that maybe on sort of the initial thought, they're like, oh, classical music, that symphonic, it's not really my style. I don't really kind of, that's not really what I listen to. If you let them hear they will recognize a lot of pieces. And even beyond the classics, even some of what we call the pops music, musics from movies and from TV shows and things that are very sophisticated. A lot of them are, there's a lot of themes and there's a lot of things that happen inside, and you play it for them and like, oh, I do know what that is. I do recognize that. And you get that sort of light bulb moment, and it's like, oh yeah, I'd like to explore that a little bit more. So there's a lot of opportunity, I think.
Yeah, just imagine what Star Wars would be like if there were no music. Yeah, it would be a much different film. So speaking of performances, it's been a while since we've been able to play on stage and be in the hall with our audience. But when we do finally get back, and we will, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I think, there's something about a performance that when I'm there and I enjoy the performance, a lot of it is different than just listening to it, on headphones or in the car or something like that. I like to kind of watch the different sections and how when the themes kind of get passed back and forth from section to section, and you can kind of actually visually see who's doing what and how things go. It really adds another dimension to the experience. Listening is obviously very important, and there's a lot of nuance there. But even if you listened to a Symphoria performance, because I know WCNY is broadcasting a lot of Symphoria performances from the past, and that's great that they're doing that. So if you want to listen to some Symphoria
music, that's right.
91.3, they're there. Even that by itself, being in the hall or not, there's something added when you're there. There's a connection, not just with the music, but with the musicians. And when you can actually see them, the violins and then the cellos and then the percussion and then the brass, and you can kind of see how they interact back and forth. It's really something that is that you can't duplicate. You can't replicate that. You are either there or you're not. And it's a really great thing when you're there as part of that performance.
It's true. And I think from a performer's perspective, I look out in the hall and I know so many people who come to every single concert, including your family and other subscribers. And I know, someone will say, oh, I'm going to be at the concert tonight. And I look out in the hall and I see all of these familiar faces and people that I know and people that I, know their grandkids' names and they know my kids' names and all of that. And it just feels like home to me. And so I'll be really glad to be at home in the hall again. So do you have any parting words for our Symphoria supporters?
Well, as a board member, I would like to say thank you to all of the supporters out there. I know that the ticket sales themselves are not enough to sustain, the entire organization. So it's really dependent upon those who have given financially and otherwise as well. And so I think that's a really great thing in our community, that we have those people that we can count on, to kind of do that. And it's, like I said, it's an opportunity. It's really an opportunity to participate and to join in, with the orchestra, with the organization, and to really be a part of its growth. I think anything that we can do to help facilitate the ability of the orchestra to grow, to thrive, to really let you guys do what you do best. I mean, it's really great, to be a part of that. And it's a privilege. I mean, honestly, it's a privilege. And I think, as I said before, it's in some respects a responsibility, for me as an individual, but also as a company, to do our part to ensure that the community as a whole can be together and we can grow together, as a community. These last couple of months have been very, very unpredictable, and it's a crisis all around. And the extent to which we can participate, with groups like Symphoria, it's really something that we all should take advantage of. And again, to be a part of that family. You mentioned the hall being like a home, and it's really, being a member of that sort of extended family where we can all kind of be together and kind of go in the same direction.
And the beautiful thing about the Symphoria family is that it is unlimited. Our arms are open to everyone who wants to come in and be a part of our family. And that includes individuals, and it includes businesses. If you would like to become a part of the Symphoria family, you can give our office a call and talk to our executive director, Pam Murchison, about what that would look like for you. And I encourage all of you who are already supporters and subscribers to be sure to join us tomorrow night for our Solstice Evening of Gratitude event. And if you are not a subscriber or a donor, you can rectify that by going to the website, and there is a spot there for the solstice, and you can check out how to get your private link to view our first live stream concert. So we're really excited about that. And many thanks to the Fang family and PEC, and of course you, Michael, for all of your help. So I hope that everyone has a wonderful time tomorrow night. Thank you for being here with us, Michael, and we will see all of you soon.
Thank you very much, Kelly.